how easily do we give away joy? Do you know what I mean? Like how easily, when the line is long at the post office, do we turn to anger? Do we turn to frustration? Do we start snapping at each other? And I think we've seen this a lot, but I think these moments can help us highlight different ways that we can actually approach what's happening, because it doesn't have to be that way all the time. Hello, beautiful humans, and welcome to episode number 293 of the Game On Girlfriend podcast. So I want you to picture something for me. I want you to picture 6 teenage girls in a car with yours truly driving on our way home, just beginning a 4-hour drive from Martha's Vineyard back home to New Jersey. I want you to picture serotonin. I want you to picture sand all over the car, probably bags of chips, maybe some licorice, a couple Slurpee like little cups in the back seat. Yeah, you picturing this? You got this? Everybody on their phone, TikTok videos flying, and the car dies. Because of course it does. This is going to be an episode about how we turn the detour, the reroute, into a new form of joy, and what actually happened as I was driving the girls home from Martha's Vineyard. Pop in your earphones and let's get to it. So last week, I decided to spend 5 days in Martha's Vineyard with my daughter and 5 of her teenage friends. It was a blast. Like, I was in full on mom mode. I was making blueberry pancakes. There were some muffins involved. There were s'mores at night. Like, it was a blast. We had a wonderful time filled with sunny days on the beach, sunscreen made in the shape of hearts so that we have fun tan lines, all the things, right? It was glorious. And these girls had a trip that they'll remember forever. And quite frankly, so did I. It was wonderful. And as we're all sad, our last day, if you've never been to Martha's Vineyard, it's wonderful. Go say hi. We happened to be there just after the 50th anniversary of Jaws, which was really fun. So we have some beautiful pictures of the girls jumping off of the Jaws bridge, which is what one does right next to the no jumping sign. It's a good time. Anyway, we had the best time. And as you're leaving, right, you drive your car onto the ferry. And there comes this moment where you're officially not on the island anymore. Like you just feel it. You're officially on the boat. And you watch the island get smaller and smaller and watch the mainland get bigger and bigger. And it's tough. It's tough. Like, being there is ridiculous, right? It is heaven on earth. It is walking around at your own time. No one's in a rush. There's not a single stoplight on the island. It's glorious, right? And even though we had to run to the hospital at one point, because it turns out my daughter had pneumonia, because of course she did, right? It was still glorious. And even being in the hospital on that island was a beautiful experience, because that's how most things are. So we get off the ferry. We drive the car off the ferry. Everybody's just starting to settling in. They're going over the 1,200 photographs that were taken. I kid you not, inside the shared album. They're looking at them. I can hear music in headphones. Everybody's listening to their own thing. I, of course, have Taylor Swift blasting because, of course. And we're just starting to settle in. And I go to change lanes and I speed up and the car dies. I have 4.5-hour drive ahead of me. I have other people's children in the car. The gas pedal is not working. What? Had the car serviced right before we left. Why? So this wouldn't happen, right? Like, it was just one of those things where I was like, no, we're having the perfect moment. How could this happen? Right? So I turn the car off, I turn it back on, and it works for about 3 minutes. And then the same thing happens again. I'm like, okay, I cannot drive the girls home like this. This isn't safe. So I get us to a gas station. We're figuring out what's going on. Thank you to AI for many a chat GPT response to what was happening, given the make and model of the car. Sigh. We start a group chat with the moms. We decide the best thing to do is to drive the car to the nearest dealership, which we do, about an hour away from where we are, but it's all side streets, so it's safe. We decide to do that, and we're going to have a car come and pick us up, take us all home. We'll manage. Everything's fine. So now we're safe, right? That's first and foremost. For me, this massive detour, this end to this glorious vacation of giggles and happiness and sunshine and sunscreen, right? And now they're safe. So what we decided to do is make sure we got our way to the dealership, which we did. We found it. And then we all searched for the best way for us to get dinner and have some fun while we wait for our car ride home. And I have to tell you, we found a beautiful little, the little shopping mall open courts that you can find along highways. We had a great one. Had a TJ Maxx, a Starbucks. There was a Chick-fil-A, there was an Old Navy. It was great. Like everybody, what we did is we pulled into the parking lot and I said, all right, everybody get the dinner you want. We'll all have fun. I go to Starbucks because I'm like, I have a long night ahead of me, right? We realize there's chargers in Starbucks. So everybody gets their phone. We all get our different dinners. We go hang out. We are laughing and giggling. And then Starbucks closes and our driver is still 45 minutes away. So what do? We go to TJ Maxx. We have a blast. We're making everyone who works there laugh. We're trying on different perfumes. Some of the girls got earrings. I got a new pair of shoes because why not? We have this great time. We're laughing, we're giggling. On the way out, TJ Maxx is now closed. We're like, we got a few more. They start playing volleyball in the parking lot. I kid you not. I was like, we have turned this into the best time. And I turned to them and I said, I just want to hug you guys. You guys have been so great. And we had this massive group hug. And they're like, thank God we have each other, right? This is amazing. And these young girls taught me in this moment, right? While I'm getting texts from the other parents, from my own ex-husband, people are like, how are you not freaking out right now? Why are you not totally panicked? And I said, well, because we're safe. That's first and foremost. But then once we're safe, why would we not have fun? Me pacing or swearing or like getting nervous or being upset probably isn't going to change anything. It's just going to make me feel bad and it's going to make the girls feel anxious. That's crazy to me. Why are we not just having joy? Now, that sounds very Pollyanna, I know, and I want to be super straight with you. I was not thrilled. Like, I was not like, yay, this is the best thing ever. I was thoroughly annoyed, right? That at that moment, I was like, it couldn't have broken down on the island. I could have stayed on the island for a couple more days. It's like, you think of all these things, right? Of like, well, this could be so much better. Why this way? And at some point, you start to lean into it. And, the girls and I were talking as we were charging our phones in Starbucks, and it was like, maybe there was a drunk driver on the way home. Maybe there would have been an accident. Maybe there was someone at TJ Maxx that needed to be cheered up. And we got to have the joy and the privilege of being the group of people that round out their day with laughter. We were having so much fun. And the girls got to extend their vacation a little bit, which is what they were hoping for. As we drove onto the ferry, remember I tell you there's that moment when you leave the island where it's like, oh, it's over. Right? That feeling, when the vacation's over and you're like, it was so good. We got to extend it. Is it the way we planned? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But we extended it anyway. And we had a great time. And then we got back to our house so late that all the girls got to sleep over and we extended it even more. So why am I sharing this story with you? It is not to pretend like I have my stuff together and everything's always hunky-dory. No, I was annoyed, right? I hope I hit it well. Maybe I didn't, right? But it's like at some point I had to let go of my annoyance and just be in the moment. And it reminded me of something that I was taught a while ago. And it's this idea that to suffer, and I'm not saying we don't have things in life that cause suffering. We do, right? There are so many things that happen that just shatter our hearts. We've all been through it, right? Someone we love gets sick. There is an accident, right? Something unexpected happens. We get that diagnosis from the doctor. Wars get started. Yes, we have these moments. But on the daily, how easily do we give away joy? Do you know what I mean? Like how easily when the line is long at the post office, do we turn to anger? Do we turn to frustration? Do we start snapping at each other? And I think we've seen this a lot, right? Heaven knows I struggle with it too. I don't mean to sound like I've got it figured out. I don't, but I think these moments can help us highlight different ways that we can actually approach what's happening because it doesn't have to be that way all the time. And watching these young girls be such an example to me. They were laughing. They were talking about which photos they were going to post. They all got different dinners, so everybody was happy. And it just really reminded me that I think as we go through life, sometimes we feel like joy is something we have to earn, right? We have to earn being happy. We have to like work until we're dead to have a week of vacation, right? Like these kinds of ideas. And these girls hadn't been tainted by that yet. It was beautiful to watch them just be happy together because they had each other. And it reminded me, back to my point, that a long time ago, one of my mentors told me that to suffer is to assume that you know better than the universe or God or the divine, your phrase for whatever, the higher power, the best version of you, right? That to suffer through the daily things that happen that aren't planned, the detours of things that we don't love, that's not always what we have to focus on. Or we can release the idea that we know best. I'll never know why that happened. I'm going to guess if I want to give it meaning, right? Because we love to give stuff meaning, like welcome to being a human, right? We all want to give stuff meaning. I would say I think it's funny that the car would stop working whenever I tried to accelerate. And it's the summertime and it's this beautiful experience. And I was so in a rush to get the girls home. It's like, but why? So, what I chose to make this mean is there are times to stop and savor and enjoy. And sometimes we're kind of popped into that position to like slow down and savor and enjoy. And other times we can do it a little bit more intentionally. And I think that's what I really wanted to take from this experience is maybe we don't have to earn joy. Maybe it's actually our birthright. You know, that's an old phrase, right? Man is, or woman is, that she might have joy. It's so easy to forget that. It's so easy to get caught up in the emails, into the dings on the phone, into the car breaking down, into, oh, I'm having a bad hair day. Like, pick a thing, right? Like, we can fall into those moments and forget just how beautiful life is just because it is. So, what I would love, I really want to hear your reroute detour moments. You can shoot us an email, support@sarahwalton.com, and let us know your best stories. I really, really want to know. I'm very serious about this. What did you think was bad, right? What did you have like pigeonholed as a bad thing that was happening in your life? That now that you look back on it and you go, that actually taught me something amazing. That opened up a new perspective on joy I didn't even know I needed. I want to hear your stories about that because I think it's so important for us to remind each other that while we cannot be in control of anything because life, what we can be in control of is how we choose to view it. So even if you find yourself in a sandy car, smelling like sunscreen, filled to the brim with serotonin, sun hats, sunglasses, and videos, and things don't go the way you planned, what joy can you find in the next moment? I'll see you in the next episode.